Hello everyone, this is POW Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about a major snowstorm for the Ohio Valley coming up on Monday through early Wednesday, and also a flash flooding setup for you guys in parts of the South. So before I do get started, if you do like weather related content, please subscribe to my channel, as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family on social media. So let's kind of delve into the details. Here is what you're looking at is the 500 millibar coming up on Tuesday for the Ohio Valley. And we have a deepening trough and pulling in very cold air aloft. And then that will be the start of a major snowstorm for you guys in the Ohio Valley coming up on Monday through early Wednesday. But how do we actually get there? So let's kind of walk you through the timeline. Here it starts off with the teleconnections. We've been talking about a major pattern change coming up for December. It's going to start off in a big way. We see the PNA, which is the Pacific North American, really elevating to a 4 deviation. This would really elevate the ridge and put high pressure over the west. And then at the same time, we also have a deepening NAO, which turns negative. So you see these two combinations. That's going to pull in some very cold air and really amplify the pattern going forward. And this will set the stage for our snow event coming up to start meteorologically winter. And then you see it predominantly stays negative for the good chunk of the first week of December, as well as the PNA also. And so later on in the line, here's the EPO, which has some discrepancy if it's going to actually stay negative or not. So most of this colder air will be centraled over the central and southern and kind of the Ohio Valley regions. With the EPO the way it is, much of the Northeast is going to be missed out of this colder event. But yes, there are a little bit of uncertainties once you get past, say, like the 10th of the month, we're going to be dragging down some of that colder air to include you guys and the Northeast. But here's the overall outlook for today, for Friday. We've got that cold front, and that's going to kind of set the stage for a pretty good rain event for parts of the South. And this can kind of really get its act together as a low pressure kind of merges together. And I'm kind of really concerned about a flash flooding setup for you guys and a lot of the South. So, I mean, parts of Houston, Beaumont, getting into Louisiana. I mean, over the next from Friday to Sunday, you'd be picking up from 5 to 8 inches of rain. So this whole area could be inundated with a flash flooding event as that first initial cold front puts snow on the backside of Arizona and New Mexico. So as we kind of take you through the timeline on Saturday, it kind of really gets its act together. This thing's kind of a slow mover. So they're waiting on this low pressure over Denver along with this low pressure to combine around this area to lift and start creating the snowstorm for you guys in the Ohio Valley. But back behind that, but first and foremost, we got to be dealing with a flash flooding setup for along parts of the South. So getting into Beaumont, getting into parts of like Victoria, all the way down here by the coast, these whole areas would be under a flash flooding setup. I mean, I'm seeing precipitation water values of 1 to 2 inches per hour in this type of event. So yes, I'm definitely concerned about a flash flooding setup along the coast. And it'll be a chilly rain for you guys in like Dallas. I don't see it coming, basically even struggling to get to 50 degrees on Saturday with a very cold rain for much of the day, just kind of a light to moderate rain. And we see a little bit of a transition to a mixed bag in parts of the panhandle of Texas. So as we kind of walk you through Sunday, now we're kind of seeing this merge. We see this cold front here. We're seeing this cold, this trough down here below that's bringing all the rain for the deep south. And this will start to get its act together by Sunday, and then try to lift up. So you see the initial stance is having some little bit of snow showers kind of breaking out into Chicago, but we're waiting on these two systems to kind of merge to create our snow event. So let's kind of walk you through this. Here's the latest European model, and I'm going to kind of take you through kind of every 6 hours to kind of set the stage and how all this is going to play out. This is essentially Sunday afternoon, so we're still waiting for that colder air. We've got that leftover showers for the deep south, so by this time you'll already see 5 to 8 inches easily in this area, parts of way down to the south, and this will lift up as we go through Sunday afternoon. Getting into Monday morning, now we're talking about a 995 low pressure kind of deepening over the Ohio Valley. This is all rain on the south side. So I pretty much predominantly for you guys, a lot of you guys in the Northeast, this is going to be an all rain event. This is predominantly over the Ohio Valley region. So as we get into Monday morning, we could start to see that transition a little bit into some snow into places like, like Chicago, getting into parts of Illinois, but mainly starting to set up over Indiana, places like Bloomington, kind of a Louisville, Kentucky area, Fort Wayne, South Bend, Indiana. So then you'll start to get that transition over from rain to snow, and then we'll start getting into like Toledo, Ohio, and getting into Detroit and Lansing, Michigan. So this whole area will be kind of getting its act together as this trough really kind of deepens. Now we're down to a 992 setting up over Pennsylvania. So in the beginning, we'll be predominantly all rain over Pennsylvania and parts of the Northeast, but we are going to make that transition as we extend the period into Tuesday. But on the backside, this is really starting to, you can see those deepening blues trying to get back into the picture. So that's where some of those heavier snow showers start to kind of creep in as these isobars tighten up as well. So the winds will be picking up as well. So that is on Monday afternoon. So as we get into, later Monday night into early, into the overnight on Tuesday, that's when we can see some of those deepening, heavier snows really start to kind of break out in Kentucky, into, Tennessee area. You're going to be getting into the action. A lot of you guys be really kind of inundated into Ohio, as this is going to be a slow mover. So we're talking over like a 36 to a 48 hour event for much of this area. So this is going to be jumping some light to moderate, if not heavier snows at times. So as we extend getting into overnight on Monday night, we're still going to be dealing with that snow and Tennessee and parts of like Lexington, Kentucky. But much of Ohio is going to be just under the gun for this event. Places like Dayton, Dayton is going to be, inundated, Toledo, and then we're starting to, as we get into like Cleveland by Acorn, Ohio, that's when we're going to kind of see the mix of kind of a lake effect. Now we're starting to really deepen the winds and getting more of a lake effect snow. So some of the higher amounts could be places like Cleveland, Ohio, where, gosh, I expect a good chunk, almost up to a foot of snow for you guys in Cleveland as this kind of moves along and propagates, moves to the east. And as we get into early Tuesday morning, so that's when it kind of really sets the stage. That's when we start to make the transition into kind of a mixed bag in places like Pittsburgh. Now you're getting into the action, and it's going to be starting to wind down for you guys down in Tennessee and Kentucky, but still really still snowing for you guys in Ohio, getting into West Virginia now. So this is getting into Michigan, places like Detroit. I do think you're going to get a pretty good snow event from this system, but definitely along the places of the combination of the lake effects snow event and along the lake. And I think that's where you're going to really get some of those higher snow bands, and it really starts to crank out. So on Tuesday afternoon, still places like Pittsburgh are going to be under the gun for that snow. It should be an all snow by the time. I don't expect you get above freezing in places like Pittsburgh coming up on Tuesday, as the snow just kind of drags down that colder air. It's going to be very difficult to get above freezing. And then, of course, as night falls, that's just going to add insult to injury with those roads and create a snowpack by then as the snow continues to fall. And by later on Tuesday night, it starts to wind down. But this is where the darker blues really start to set up in places like Cleveland, where you can start getting some of those heavier snow squalls with those higher winds. You see the isobars is really tightening up. And so I'm looking at some pretty good snow amounts coming up for you guys in Cleveland, but it's going to be predominantly kind of a central PA and further west. A lot of you guys in the Northeast will kind of miss out on this snow event as it starts to kind of wind down on Wednesday, but we're still dealing with those snow showers on the backside, and we can take you through Wednesday morning. Now we're starting to see just a light dusting, light to moderate dusting as this snowstorm starts to wind down. But I can take you to the kind of initial snow amounts set up for this system. So I do think a good 1 to 3 inches for parts of Tennessee, getting into Kentucky here. But places like, in Indiana, up to 4 to 8 inches is not out of the question, where some of your heavier amounts are going to be setting up over the Ohio Valley, and especially as we get towards Cleveland by the lake. I mean, you guys could easily pick up a foot of snow or more. So I'm definitely looking at more like a 3 to 6 snow amount range for you guys coming up, like in places like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and some of the little bit heavier amounts as this low kind of swings up into West Virginia. But yeah, on the backside, a lot of this snow has kind of shifted a little bit further east in the newest updates. So a lot of this snow that was looking more likely into Illinois and a good chunk of Michigan is going to be moved slightly to the east. So I do think it's going to be predominantly Ohio Valley type setup for this event. Obviously, this is kind of a ways out. This is Friday. We're talking, Monday through early Wednesday. So I will be kind of fine tuning this event as we move forward, and definitely be updating the snowfall total. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch my next video where I protect you before and after the storm.